Rose and Jack didn't end up reunited following the Titanic's demise, but Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio are distinct. Over 20 years have passed since. When the Titanic was launched, they not only endure in the memories of viewers as the famous couple on TV, but they also keep up an uncommon bond in real life. Authentic, long-lasting, and devoid of the classification of romantic partners. Hollywood is full of short-lived connections and baseless gossip. Leo and Kate decided to discreetly go with each other during each phase of their careers. They don't have to be romantically involved. The world is constantly jealous of them, their affectionate relationship, and the most something unexpected after all these years. At last, Leo revealed his really sentiments for Kate, his soulmate. Calls irreplaceable. In 1996, their story started amid a disastrous casting in which either of they were aware that it would fundamentally alter their occupations and personal lives. In 1996, James Cameron was in the casting phase. The two primary functions of his Jack Dawson and Rose Thwip's careers. At the time, the Titanic was a huge, contentious project that has been condemned for its excessive spending and an abnormally lengthy shooting schedule. In light of this, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, two young performers at a turning point in their careers, entered the audition room without knowing that they would live forever entangled from the start. Kate, at the time only 20 years old, had already received acknowledgement from the sense and sensitivity as well as celestial beings. She made the effort to give Cameron a call, asking to meet Leo after finding out that he was being evaluated for the position of Jack. Cameron remembers that Kate hushed everyone in the room as she walked in and with ease performed alongside Leo. They required hardly simply make eye contact and click lines. The filmmaker only needed to breathe to be aware that he required these two. The Titanic took more than 160 days to film, primarily in enormous Mexican studios. Cold water and harsh working conditions, box, media pressure, and temps. The environment was influenced by office expectations. On-set tense nearly of the time, however. Among all the confusion, Leo and Kate discovered a refuge in one another. They conversed during breaks, discussing worries regarding their uncertainties about their future careers or just giggling at technical errors that caused every member of the crew starts again with Kate once revealed that Leo was the sole individual who could ease her tension. On the other hand, Leo described Kate as the soul. Great vibes on the shoot when everything appeared to be disintegrating, but they didn't flirt with one another. There was no romance required to keep their relationship intact. This is what caused their bond to transcend a normal relationship between coworkers following the release of the movie at the end of 1997. The Titanic became a worldwide sensation, became one of Hollywood's most coveted celebrities, but with the recognition, numerous speculations surfaced that they were in covertly dating, or even getting engaged. Both denied it, and there was only bond, and they remained steadfast in that position for many years after that. What was notable was their reaction to the media didn't react or avoid it vehemently, but they also failed to verify anything, to plate people when questioned about. In an interview with Kate in 1998, Leo only stated, "She is among those who permit me to be who I am in the middle of all the craziness." And in 1999, Kate was questioned about Leo. Said, "He led me to feel that you don't Must always act in order to be approved. Each then went after their own professional trajectory. The picture of Jack and Rose continued to loom large, but they never let their history to affect their present relationship. They stayed in contact, but due to celebrity, but out of deference and a natural, unqualified comprehension of one another over 10 years later. Returned them to one another, not as the. Despite being two, the young couple is fighting fate. Adults acting out a broken matrimony. This get-together signaled a new, pivotal moment that also functioned as a test of their relationship following years apart. The harmony and unique link on screen of soulmates Leonardo DiCaprio in 2008. On-screen reunion with Kate Winslet 4. In Revolutionary Road, for the second time, a strong psychological drama that exploring the oppressive character of American. Do you know what married life was like in the 1950s? What does the term insanity mean? Indeed, the incapacity to relate to the incapacity of another human being. No longer a youthful romantic, to love couple against the Titanic's backdrop. They depicted a married couple at one point, with a broken, ripped, and disheartening relationship that made the movie. Especially noteworthy was the fact that it was overseen by Kate's attorney, Sam Mendes' spouse at the time. The partnership between the three attracted media attention right away. Numerous newspapers asked whether recording private moments between Leo and Kate may make things difficult in the background, but the whole group, particularly the three parties concerned, remained completely professional. Mendes refrained from interfering with the performance. Leo and Kate, his wife's co-stars, maintained their limits without ever letting them slip the reciprocal regard that had been. In an interview with V between them, Kate openly acknowledged in the magazine that filming Leo's romantic sequences in it seemed somewhat odd in front of her husband, but also quite cozy because I have entire faith in Leo, and Sam does the same. She went on to say, there was no pretending that it was a secure area that wasn't. Many individuals in this field are able to readily locate. The movie didn't accomplish the Titanic's box office success, but it was lauded by critics for the way Leo and Kate became characters. They were both recognizable and unfamiliar too. They shone a notable level of maturity in their acting professions. Were no longer there chemistry based only on intuition. Moment, it was the outcome of a profound comprehension of one another after over 10 years of friendship in an The Guardian critic's analytical piece. According to Peter Bradshaw, it's uncommon for two actors to not only keep up a distinct division between their roles and lifestyles, but also to examine the inconsistencies within their personas like Kate and Leo did in Revolutionary Road. This uncommon compliment that made no mention of the Titanic indicated that they had reinterpreted how the general people perceived their cooperation between Leo and Kate off-screen. Also continued to be close for a long time. Didn't often show up together at occurrences, and they didn't make use of their friendship seeking publicity, yet they still discreetly helped one another out in private. Neither of them ever shied away from questions regarding the other, yet their responses were consistently succinct, truthful, and free of overly sentimental exploitation. During Kate's golden, she received a Globe for her work on Revolutionary Road. Leo did not attend the event, but sent a short handwritten note with flowers. Note, well-deserved and continually proud. When Leo was still being ignored, you by the Academy Awards in subsequent years. Kate publicly backed him, even making an appearance as a close friend at the 2016 ceremony. Instead of just being a visitor there hasn't been any conflict in the connection, sensationalism or scandal for the media to take advantage of, because it has remained silent but tenacious, like a personal basis on which they both know they could always count on, even uttering no words after that amazing reunion. They went again, their individual paths, each pursuing their own routes, new initiatives, and time zones. And then an unexpected interruption resulted in epidemic, but in spite of the one thing's geographical distance stayed the same, the silent presence of the other during each of their travels doesn't make the friendship between Leo and them after the Revolutionary Road. Kate didn't show up in any other movies. Jointly, both of them kept up their own routes. Leo became well known in Martin Scorsese's writings, and Kate selected a Christopher Nolan movie, but less commercial routes, showing up more in indie films, high-quality television, and experimental endeavors that emerged independently in the press at various occasions and in interviews in which they don't longer and more often mentioned one another. However, the lack of regular appearances did not imply that they had overlooked one another. The 2010 to 2020 timeframe indicated a clear change in how they kept in contact but stopped going to many film events or award shows. They remained connected to one another through phone calls, texts, and occasionally only a few handwritten notes were received via shared acquaintances. In 2012, following Kate's third marriage, it was Leo who led her along the aisle. The gathering was held in secret, in no press releases in New York. Wedding pictures without any reporters, but according to reliable reports, he was the Kate merely wanted a companion for that time, as well as Leo's first. The Revenant won the 2016 Academy Award, one of the first individuals he pursued following their departure from the stage. Picture of them clasped together in the crowd turned into a moment that was shared worldwide. Not because it's a play, but because the uncommon emotional bond between, after over 2 decades, 2 A-list celebrities, of discreetly helping one another for a year. Afterwards, during a discussion with Hollywood, Kate, the reporter, called Leo the "I still call my pal whenever I need. We don't talk," she added, offering candid advice daily, but when something significant, he's always there, no matter what. In general, Leo stays away from discussing his personal connections in any case. In a uncommon interview with a newspaper in Germany, he gave a nod in 2018 when asked if Kate was his greatest confidant in the sector. There aren't many individuals who recognize how I was raised in this business. She is among the select few. CO-19 epidemic that started in the beginning of 2020 halted all activities. Projects were postponed, and spatial limitations more obvious than ever that Kate was in the. They were unable to see the UK Leo in the US. 3 years together, when remembering their reconnection following the social Kate's moment of separating herself from the Guardian, we remained silent and simply embraced after exchanging glances. After so much time, I broke down in tears. Relationship was upheld by a straightforward have faith that the other individual was still present. Continued to be a reliable component of an planet that is constantly evolving. This turn become especially unique in the Hollywood setting, where the majority of relationships are impacted by media or celebrity timing. agendas, as disclosed by a close source, that Kate kept a little record of. Images taken behind the scenes at Titanic to Revolutionary Road, which includes unpublished pictures taken while Leo was sleeping, while taking a rest, or when they both chuckled heartily following a camera failure. It wasn't a piece of memorabilia for the public, but she also selected a private section for her own use by the end of 2024. Following an extended time of upholding from a distance, they appeared together once more, although this time not on a film set. During an uncommon public gathering, the reunion wasn't spectacular, yet it was plenty to attract focus, since it served as a reminder to everyone that certain connections don't require ongoing modifications to preserve their initial worth. A moment that had been planned for 25 years in Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate in November 2024. Winslet got back together in Los Angeles. Lee's debut. This was the initial in the many years that they were present together for a movie screening, not due to a collaborative initiative or for advertising. Leo was there with the aim of introducing Kate prior to the movie's showing, a unique motion from a performer who is well known for being discreet and not frequently showing up at public gatherings for private motives. Lee was one of Kate's passion projects. Noted wartime photographer Lee Miller, former journalist and activist role model who was connected to numerous historical events throughout World War II. This function not only acting prowess, but also requires the performer to comprehend the intricate depth of a tough and resilient woman. Kate was severely scarred and not only performed the lead, but additionally functioned as the movie's producer, keeping a tight eye on the project. From production to post-production, Leo's presence and the way he presented her at a premiere like that wasn't just a professional obligation, but a representation of his particular admiration for her tenacity and autonomy on stage. Leo upheld his typical calm and collected manner. Unflashy, he said a few words, but carefully concentrating primarily on Kate's capacity to guide a multifaceted character and her perseverance in narrating a tale. Without the help of the box office, he didn't bring up their common history, didn't mention the Titanic or make their bond as the main subject of every. The word choice was deliberate, avoiding any ostentation and concentrating only on the work and the individual he felt was entitled to. Kate stood next to him and gave a serious introduction. During his speech, she didn't interrupt, nor did she exhibit any overly feeling. After the introduction, they walked off the stage in a professional manner, co-workers not embracing or bowing to the crowd and not grinning with nostalgia. Everything was completed precisely, without providing any room for needless interpretation, but Leo's presence and the manner in which he decided to his backing was sufficient for onlookers to recognize that their relationship is still existed in a distinct, peaceful environment, but persistent manner. Pictures of them showing swiftly shared backstage together by media organizations, but failed to establish a stir. No dramatic headlines were present. There are no articles that speculate about their most merely reported the relationship incident as it transpired. A few articles characterized it as an uncommon situation where Leo openly backed a proposal that didn't include him, and only a handful he could be forced to appear in such a method. Following the screening, Kate was questioned regarding Leo's look. Her reaction, cited word for word in a number of periodicals, was, "I knew he would come, but I wasn't sure he would be there if he could." Her Emotions were not emphasized by words, nor did they draw attention to the intimate aspects of their partnership, but it was sufficient to explain Leo's role in her profession. Voyage constantly present in silence at the appropriate moment without requiring commitments. Their bond isn't characterized by their appearing together in front of the camera. However, by the time they arrived without the necessity to bring it up for over 20, they have continued to use this strategy for years. No media updates, no mutual exploitation. Magnify one's own photos that are always present when the presence of the other was actually needed. This incident didn't cause a stir on social networking sites, nor did it become a commonly talked subject, but for individuals who have observed them over time, which is a minor accomplishment in and of itself, not because their connection was altered, although since it verified something that Leo and Kate appeared to be clear already, kept going with each other in the how they have consistently made silent decisions, gradually and without using words. Several weeks following the lead premiere, the actor Leonardo DiCaprio consented to take part in a thorough discussion with. This was included in the Deadline magazine. Regular actors on Actors series carried out each movie season with an emphasis on important figures in the field, and throughout this discussion for the first time he candidly discussed the enduring friendship with Kate. Leonardo has been discussing Kate for 25 years. Following over 20 years of collaboration, the interview was conducted by an editor for many years, Mike Fleming Jr. Deadline. The event was held in a studio in Beverly Hills with just a partial crew. A recording of the audio for the publication. His acting was the main topic of discussion. Explore the changes in his methodology for job selection and, crucially, the connections that influence an actor's artistic viewpoint in their 50s when inquired about Lee's debut and his choosing to present Kate. Leo didn't beat about the bush. I don't know why. Apart from that, I thought it was the correct thing to do. We've been through so much, he remarked, jointly to clarify that within. Leo received his first invitation card. Talked openly about his connection. He only had a relationship with Kate. Noted in passing while conversations from the previous 25 years he revealed that they were silent for almost a year following the Titanic, not due to any disagreement, but because their lives were captured by unexpected conflicting scheduling. But when they reconnected, it felt exactly the same as when they departed. You reunite with some of your old pals, and you must begin anew with her. Never one of them feels like you. Leo didn't define when they chatted only yesterday. How they relate to labels he didn't refer to it as a unique friendship or on-screen soulmates, he just explained it by the manner in which it continuously exists, without relying on how frequently they converse and without the requirement for verification. No need to text each other each month, but if one of us need anything that the other person is aware of. Described incidents that weren't part of the titles. At one point, Kate sent him a draft of a screenplay for an independent movie simply to request one piece of criticism, or when he suggested that she decline a role, since he didn't believe the filmmaker enough respect for female performers, were minor, unimportant items to the external environment, but to Leo they symbolized the kind of private contact. They remained silent and based on trust when questioned about what made their partnership endures. Various stages of life, Leo merely stated. No labels, no forcing it into a mold. No parts, only being aware that there is still enough people there. At the conclusion of the discussion, Fleming posed a straightforward inquiry. Have you ever considered regarding the potential nature of this relationship or was it something else? Leo wasn't bashful. Away, he answered, everyone considers. It affects me, her, and everyone in our vicinity.